So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all shirts all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a dick theater. I've imagined your family.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime.
We're not sluts.
We just love love.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mrs. Adam.
And this is Mr. Adam.
And thanks for joining us again for another episode of By the By.
We're in a new location.
Yeah, we've made it to the living room. But we still have our mimosas.
That's right.
So,
Clink, clink.
it's a good a weekend morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. We're going to be talking today about a couple of experiences we've had lately. I'll say experiences because they're different things. One was a group outing, potentially a date. We'll see how far we get on everything, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how long we ramble on and on and on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we got tons of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But we'll start, first of all, with, it's probably been, a month ago now or so.
Yeah.
It's been a little while. We had a couple message us and saying that they were, I'm not going to say doing a pub crawl, because it wasn't a pub crawl per se, but they were having a meetup.
Like a meet and mingle.
Yes, like a meet and mingle at one of the local pubs here in Sydney. And there were, 10 couples total, I think?
At least. There was a bunch. I think there was more than that.
Well, I think there were 10 expected couples, and there could have been some added along the way.
I thought there was 18 expected couples, but
Really?
I don't remember. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of folks that were coming down. Because it was like a
Greater Sydney area.
Greater Sydney
Yeah.
area, up way far north and then way far south.
Yeah.
And then it was just this opportunity for a bunch of people to get together and meet. But I thought that she had said originally 18 couples they had reached out to.
Right.
And I think that we were the only Sydney-siders
Okay.
in that group. And this is a couple that had messaged us a few times on RHP and had reached out to us a couple of times. And we both really would like to, we had wanted to meet them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, why, yes, we are interested.
Yeah, so we went to the pub that night. And we knew that the plan was to go to the pub and, there was going to be the meet and mingle type environment there. And then potentially going to couples club later. And we had been super, super crazy busy. So admittedly, we were not entirely sure we were going to be up for going to the club later, but we at least wanted to go and meet people because, as Mr. Adams said, there were some folks that we had talked to on RHP and wanted to meet. And so, again, it was a good time to catch up with everyone all at once. So, yeah, we went to the pub, and walking in, I wasn't sure. I knew what they looked like on RHP, but that doesn't always translate well into real life. And also, she had dyed her hair that week, she said.
Yeah.
So there was that added complication. So walking in, we get there, and there's a group of tables together, and probably 3 or 4 couples already there.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, I think that's them. And you kind of scan the rest of the bar, and it's like,
That's
it doesn't.
gotta be them.
Yeah, it was like, there's other people around, but not like that. So, like, that has to be them. So we kind of walk up to them and be like, hi, we think you're the group we're looking for.
And you're just waiting for them to wave their hands in front of us. We're not the group you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, this isn't the group we're looking for. But yeah, she jumped out and was like, hey, we are the group you're looking for.
There was that moment of recognition.
Yeah, and I still, one of my favorite things I think she said was, you guys look so much bigger on Twitter. Like, awesome. Well, we are Oompa Loompa sized.
Yeah, little hobbits.
But yeah, so it was that was funny, and she took us around and did the intros to everybody, and everybody was super friendly and super nice, and yeah, I was like, all right, cool, this is gonna be fun. Admittedly, at that point, we still didn't know how our night was going to end because this happened to be the same night as one of the Red Heaven events.
Yeah.
And we'd sort of wanted to go to that, but at the same time, like you said, our week had been crazy busy.
Yeah.
The week before. In fact, I think I had been traveling that week.
You had been traveling, and we'd had a lot going on, so.
And so we hadn't really decided if we were going to go to Red Heaven, and
because we like the Red Heaven events, they're always so much fun, but at the same time, we just kind of needed some chill time. So
yes, and with like, what better way to do chill time than a meet and mingle and then swingers club with 14 people that or 14 couples we've never met.
But it's not as high energy though.
Right.
I think that's the difference.
Sorry, it's not as high energy because I just lay there. Not true.
No, I don't starfish.
You're an active participant.
Oh, terrible.
Indeed. So at the bar we were talking to them and getting along very well with a couple of the couples. It was one of those things where, as you might imagine, it's a long series of tables. So there was a few couples that we really didn't say anything other than "Hi, my name is" to at the other end of the tables, which is unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the beast. It's hard, if not impossible, to get people to move around in a setting like that.
Especially once you get conversation going with some of the couples on one end, it's then hard to break off and be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm going to leave you to go talk to these other people."
Yeah, because you're boring. I'm going to move away. That's what I mean. Even if that's not the case, that's what people always think.
I was going to say it's not the case, but if you do want to talk to other people, it is harder to get around and to mingle, and it's easy. Like in our case, Mr. Adam would go up and get another drink or whatever, so he could then kind of slide into another group, but then it's harder for me to get away and to join him.
Not that we were unhappy with who we were talking to, but it was just one of those things you always feel like you should be mingling a little more at these meet and mingles. It is half of the thing.
But inevitably, it kind of divides up, and people start talking to who they're around, they're interested in, and that's just how it goes, and it works out. And interestingly, after we had been there for maybe an hour or so, there was a couple that came in that we had met previously
at another meet and mingle,
at one of the our secret spot meet and mingles, and were really interested in them, but hadn't seen them since that night. And I don't think they ended up going to the club after that one. Did they?
Way back when?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
I didn't think they did.
Because they lived, again, all these folks were Greater Sydney area. They had to get back home.
And I think they were fairly new, so it was just that kind of dip your toe in thing.
Yeah.
It was really exciting to see them there because we were like, oh, hey, we really liked these people. And so kind of pulled them into the conversation and got to know them a bit more.
Yeah. Mrs. Adam worked her magic.
Yeah.
Like, hi. Yeah, it was funny. So the whole thing was great. We had a light dinner, and I know somebody had once asked us on Twitter, what do you eat before going out to play? And my answer is whatever doesn't make you bloated. And I know, like, that night, I think you and I split a Thai beef salad.
Yes.
Salad is a good thing to have before you play because it's lots of proteins, you get energy, and not a lot of carbs, so you aren't logy. It's important. Anyway, but I digress. So while this whole meet and mingle thing's going on, I continually walk up to the bar getting drinks, and then there's this really nice, cute bartender that
he's adorable.
Yeah, that I keep talking to, and then we start talking about bourbon, and then at one point I felt like I was taking myself away from the meet and mingle group a little too long because I was flirting with the bartender guy. I'm
gonna say, whether you like it or not, nobody noticed.
I'm sure that's fine. Aww.
Sorry, your presence wasn't missed, but
yeah, I'm used to it. Then I think at one point I walked back to the group, and the lady of the couple that we had met before, she was all interested in the fact that I was chatting up the bartender. And she was so turned on by the idea of me hitting on the bartender, which I think is kind of cute and funny at the same time. But then I was like, I'll probably give him my number before I leave, which I've never done. And what I think is kind of funny is nobody believes that.
Here's a first for Mr. Adam.
I know. Nobody believes that I've never, picked up somebody at a bar. And I really have not ever picked up, especially a bartender. Maybe somebody who went to a bar. Actually, yeah, I have picked up people from a bar, but even that's the number of times is maybe 3. But this one, I've never picked up like someone who's actually working. But yeah, as we all kind of wrapped up and got ready to leave, I just walked up and gave him one of our cards and was like, "Hi." He was like, "Hi. Take what you want from this, but both me and my partner both think you're really attractive, and we'd like to talk to you more. Our information's on the card here if you'd like to email us or kick or whatever." And he goes, I said, we're both 100% bisexual, and just we're interested in you. And he looked at me and goes, "What, do you think I'm bisexual?" I was like, "I don't know what you are, and I don't care. I just said you're attractive." and at that point, that was the alcohol talking, not necessarily me. But then he kind of smiled. And he's like, "Thank you." And then so we left, and then we went outside and started the long walk to Couples Club.
Yep, we decided to join the group after all, at Couples Club. Because admittedly, we've only been there the one time before, so we wanted to go back and just see what it was like in a different night. And this was also different because we were going with a huge group of people. I think it was 9 couples maybe ended up going to Couples Club.
I think so.
Something like that. So it was a pretty good group that went with us. We got there, and it was pretty funny because most of us walked, but there were 2 couples, I think. That ended up Ubering.
Which was clearly the smart thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was a long walk. And
the poor ladies in their heels.
Yeah, you weren't wearing heels. Because
No.
you typically don't wear those heels. But a couple of those ladies were wearing basically stiletto heels.
Yes.
And it was
a decent walk.
Like just over a K, maybe 1.2 K. I mean, it was a long way.
Which doesn't sound that far, but if you're wearing, stiletto high heels, and also on the uneven pavement and whatnot.
7 blocks. It's a long.
No.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
In heels, and it's not flat. I think it was at that just downhill enough that it's difficult to walk and not kill yourself.
And it was funny because I tend to walk a little faster, and I didn't have heels on, so I had to constantly remind myself to slow down because we were losing people behind us.
Man down, man down!
Yeah. It was like, slow down, don't walk so fast.
Yeah, but, so you and I guess I did jump over that. It was like, we had talked about it. It was like, hey, let's go on to Couples Club. This is a good opportunity to, A, go back to Couples Club and see it try to see it in a different light. And B, we like these people and would like to get to know them, more carnally. And, even if we didn't play with anybody else, it would still be fun to play in a setting where there's a lot of people that we find attractive around us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we started that long walk to Couples Club.
Yeah, it was funny, though, when we did show up because the 2 couples that had Ubered it, I think they were already there.
Well, technically, I think one of the couples was there to sort of warn the folks that were working at Couples Club that this large group of people was going to be bombarding them at once.
But
I think that's part of the reason.
It could be. But they were definitely the smart ones. And they greeted us when we came in. And they had already put their stuff in a locker and were all settled. And it was like, how did you guys get here so quickly? And they're like, oh, we Ubered. It's like, huh. Yeah, none of the rest of us were smart enough to think about that.
So, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
For us.
Yeah.
And it's also funny that's like, you and I ended up the de facto leaders because nobody else was around. And they were like, we're not exactly sure the fastest way to get there. And both of us were like, yeah, we think we know the fastest way.
Yeah.
And it necessarily wasn't the most scenic route, but we made it there pretty, I think it was the fastest way.
I think so.
So we get to Couples Club. They check us in. We go and drop our stuff off in the locker, and then we go upstairs. Did we had a bottle of wine, didn't we?
We did have.
We did take 1 or 2 bottles of wine.
One.
In fact, 1. Okay. Dropped off our wine. They instantly pour us our wine because we asked them to, and then we sat down and just chatted. And I've said this before when we did our review of the Couples Club, and I'll say it again. I really like their upstairs social area. I think that is like the highlight of the club.
It's a good social area. But I will say that when we walked in, we had this huge group of people behind us, and when we went up the stairs to drop off our wine and whatnot, I looked around to see how many people were already there, and there were 3 couples already there. There was one sitting on one side of that social area by themselves, and then 2 others on the other side, not exactly together, but close enough. I don't know if they were having conversation together or not. So there were 3 other couples there, and I don't know who might have been downstairs or other places.
Okay. I thought I remembered counting 4 because I thought there was the couple by themselves, the 2 couples by them talking to each other, well, at least in close enough proximity to chat, at the far left, and then 1 couple at the banquette to the far right. But I may be misremembering because we ended up going to the back left and sitting down in the pretty large area. And it was, I think we filled that area with all of our couples.
Well, there were a few that spread out other places as well.
But yeah, so we went in, sat down, and yeah, because I that's right, because I remember, because the couple that we had seen before, that we ended up sitting down on the same bench as them, and it was him, her, me, you. Because as we sat there, she kept, every so often she would take her fingers and run them up the back of my neck, and then like around my back, and it was really kind of sensual, sexy, sweet. It was nice. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good because we were all sitting there chatting and flirting, and there was touching that would go on, and I know there was one lady at some point who'd already had a fair bit to drink, and she came up and sat on somebody's lap. I don't remember how that all went down. But it was one of those kind of weird, okay, somebody's now sitting on this person's lap out of the blue, and it didn't really fit with what was going on. But then a minute later, she was gone. So,
and it's just...
She was just doing her flitty thing.
Yeah, so. Typical alcohol intake thing. You never can really predict what people are doing. So we're sitting around, and at some point, one of the, I don't know if, admittedly, I don't know the owners of Couples Club at all, so I don't know if it was one of the owners or whoever was in charge. She came over and said, "Hey, there's going to be a dancer performing here coming up, just as an FYI." I think it was 10 minutes, because at that point, I think we were all sort of, teetering on going downstairs and dressing down and playing. But then the dancer came, and she did her dance thing, 2 or 3 songs, which was actually better than I expected. But that's something that doesn't do it for me. Like the whole stripping, dancing thing. I've never in my life been turned on by like a lap dance or anything. It just doesn't. I don't know why. It's not part of my makeup.
Yeah. Well, she did a good job though, because I would say that she danced on the pole for a bit, but she also went around to people and got people involved. She was really good at that,
So
that is a plus, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I meant by it. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I just don't find it arousing.
Yeah. It's entertaining is what...
There you go. Yeah, it's entertaining. It's just not arousing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of things she did on the pole, I was like, wow, I know that's difficult. Having had the classes, it was like, wow, that's good work. So yeah, that was fun. And then we went downstairs, dressed down.
Yep.
Did we go back upstairs then, or did we just stay downstairs?
I think we went straight into the playrooms.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so, again, the playrooms at Couples Club, you've got the big... I always say it's sort of like a big figure 8 kind of thing. The walkway, the path is basically a big figure 8. And then the lower half of the 8, you've got that one big playroom with the couple of the leather, pleather, vinyl things. So there's a pommel horse and a swing in there, and then a
bed.
Couple of big beds.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 king size beds that are side by side, that are actually up off the floor. And then you've got the middle of the 8, and then the top part of the 8 is the middle of the 8 is, of course, the walkway, and then the top part of the 8 is 4 rooms that are together. They have walls in the middle, a plus sign in the middle, and then but there's no doors. It's all curtains, and that's what kills me about it. Only because there are those people who don't understand what a closed curtain means.
And I don't mind the curtains around a bed space in some scenarios. So if it's in the middle of a big open area, I like it.
Sure,
But at
sure.
the same time, I also like some rooms to have doors on them. I don't want it to be only curtains, and only doors isn't a problem because you can leave them open. But I do
Right.
like having that option of being able to close a door.
Yeah, it's just
But at
the problem
Couples
is
Club, there are none where you can close a door. There is no place where
truly
you can
private play area.
go for private play with somebody else.
And it all comes down to there are people who don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
So they assume that since they're in a place like this, they can go anywhere they want without invitation. And that's what my biggest issue with this whole club is that I think with that kind of setup, you draw that kind of people. Mm-hmm. But that's just, personal opinion.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary. So then the top part of the 8, rather than being a walkway, is just a huge orgy room. I got to be honest, I like that. I do like that room. My issue with that room is it's just a bunch of mattresses on the floor, and they're all uneven, and it's kind of...
There were, I can't even begin to count how many mattresses on the floor. I would say at least 8.
8 would have been my number.
Yeah, maybe.
Of different sizes, because it's not a normal... it's a normal size room, but I think there's like a few kings, a couple of singles, maybe a full...
I didn't pay attention that much.
Just kind of glancing, a quick glance.
But yeah, they are mattresses on the floor, which definitely serves its purpose, but at the same time, I don't know. I personally would... If it were my place, I would build that up a little bit and have them elevated off the floor, just on a platform type thing. Just so it's not as hard to get up and down and whatnot, whenever you're trying to
Right.
play and even standing sometimes and
Well,
stuff.
the perfect example is one of the couples that we were with. When she got off the platform, she fell immediately because it's I think there is maybe a step up into that room, a normal size step, and then the mattresses are on that step. But when she sat down, stepped down, she fell and fell flat. And it was one of those, okay, are you okay? And she said, I'm okay. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I will say as well, one thing that I saw that I did like that I missed the first time we were at Couples Club is in that middle walkway of the 8, the 2 circles where they connect, there are glory holes in that walkway.
I didn't see that the first time either.
Missed that the first time. And there's also, in that walkway, I think glass windows where you could look in.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine with me.
Yeah.
If those rooms had doors, that would be fine because people can still watch.
Right.
But they can't necessarily just hop in. And I like the glory hole thing. I think that's kind of cool.
And we did see it being used that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
By a male-female couple.
Yes.
And I think they were partners already anyway.
Yes.
But still, that's part of the fun is pretending and playing and sort of taking yourself somewhere else.
We ended up in that big
in the giant orgy room is where we ended
area.
up.
Yeah, we ended up back there with the couple that we had been talking to the most, the ones that we had met before. And a lot of the other people from this group, I think, ended up in there.
I think some of them did at least.
At least around where the side where we were. I know I looked around and I recognized a lot of the faces.
What I could see of the faces, were recognizable.
Faces, bodies, parts,
At one point I looked up and I think there was 18 individuals in that room is what I counted, so 9 couples.
When I counted, it was an odd number. I think it was 13, so it must have been at a slightly different time because there was somebody laying in the middle just watching everything.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but
the way he was doing it was weird.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be weird. It was only awkward if you make it awkward, and he was doing a damn good job of making it awkward. But yeah, so we ended up playing with the couple that we had met ages ago, and it was a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun because she and I played a little bit, but we pretty quickly swapped partners. So I ended up with her partner, and then you ended up with her. And we ended up playing like that most of the night, I think.
Yeah, and we played for a while.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn. It wasn't like, let's just jump in and do this.
until towards the end, I started to get really hot. I think we were all just really hot. Starting
Well,
to get
when you've got 18 people
Yeah.
creating friction in a room with poor ventilation, which is true of all swingers clubs, they all
Yeah.
have poor ventilation. It can get really warm really quick. Because I remember when we first got back there,
Yeah.
both ladies went, "Ooh, it's chilly back here," and I thought to myself, "Give it time."
if it starts off chilly, then you're okay.
Yeah. You're still gonna get hot.
Yeah. But yeah, it started to get really, really hot after we'd been playing. It was, I don't know, it felt like quite a while. Again, it's that swinger time. I have no idea.
Swinger
What it
time. That's
actually was.
fantastic. I want to know, like, that.
Do other people experience the swinger time?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. It's
Yeah.
like, it feels like it could have been 10 minutes, but it was actually an hour, or it feels like it could have been an hour, but it was actually 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's all relativity.
Yeah, but yeah, we played with them for quite a while, and I started getting so hot and just started to get kind of sweaty and just almost feeling claustrophobic, just that icky kind of I need to get out of here feeling. And
Well, I knew you were getting hot when you looked at him. You were like, "Okay, just get behind me. Let's do this doggy." Because I was like, "That's the there's at the minimum amount of touching there."
yeah, I like doggy, but it is in that case I just needed to get out of there. And
Plus, that finishes most guys pretty quickly.
yeah, but we did that for a few minutes, and he didn't finish.
Yeah.
And so I looked up at some point, and you and her, I think, were laying there. I think
Yeah,
you
we
guys had
finished and we're just watching.
So yeah, you guys were just watching. I looked up at you guys and kind of back at him, and I was like, I need a break. Like, we either need to finish this and then go get a drink of water and cool off for a minute, or take a break and then come back to it. And because I was like, I'm more than happy to come back, but I just needed to get away for a minute and cool down a little bit, get a drink of water because I was so thirsty as well. And neither one of them took offense to that. It was fine.
Well, I remember you even said that you felt a little guilty.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I feel bad.
Like, I don't want to ruin the fun.
I don't
want
want to stop the fun, but at the same time, I think I'm dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah.
agree. I understand. Yeah, but it was fun. It was interesting.
They were a fun couple to play with, I felt like.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they'd be fun to play with more.
And it was nice being up in that room because we could then look around at the others, and it's just being in that whole sexy environment and seeing other people playing as well, and that just kind of feeds it and turns you on even more, at least for me, because we like to watch.
Yeah.
And so it was nice just to kind of look around and see other couples playing. There was a threesome at one point. I saw female, male. They were going at it, I don't know, doing stuff, having fun.
Doing the sex thing.
They were doing their thing. But yeah, it is nice to be in that environment. I like those big orgy rooms when there's a lot of people in them.
I do too. I agree. And you kind of think about how if you could design one, how would you do
Yeah.
it? And that one's got a lot of things that I have to admit I do like, but it's got a lot of things I don't like as well.
And fortunately, our biggest complaint last time was the smokers in that door staying open to the smoking areas a lot. But this time there were not as many smokers.
No.
And so it was not as smoke laden as it had been the time before.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right, which is nice.
You still get it from time to time, especially later in the evening upstairs, but it wasn't as hazy. It didn't filter down the stairs. It wasn't as permeating, I guess I could say.
Yeah. Yeah, but all in all, it was good because after that, so we finished with them and went upstairs and had a few more drinks and just sat around chatting. And then by this point in the night,
there were some other folks up there that we then chatted with that we had seen at the meet and mingle.
Yeah, but we hadn't really got to talk to a lot.
No, and they had gone off and played somewhere else. So
Yeah.
this was a good chance for us to kind of come together and talk to them some.
And so, yeah, I remember there was at least, I don't know, 4 couples maybe up there, and we were all just sitting around kind of just chit-chatting and talking. And that was nice. It was, we finished our bottle of wine, and I think we had a couple more waters.
Yes.
It's funny. You can tell these clubs that are in old houses that were clearly at one point at least a house there's a bathroom up in the social area, and that bathroom has a giant, I say giant, it's a big corner jacuzzi tub. And it always seems like you walk in and you're like, well, that seems out of place. You're like, I bet at New Year's Eve that gets used.
Yeah, it does seem out of place just because it's in the bathroom in the social area. And it's, I don't know, it does seem a little out of place.
Yeah. But whatever.
I'm sure somebody uses it at some point.
I'm sure.
So.
Just always, things like that always give me a giggle when I walk into the bathroom. I'm like, I did not expect to see this in the bathroom. And I missed it the first time we went through.
I don't think I used the bathroom up there.
No, I don't think so. I did either.
No.
So
we stayed up there chatting with the other 4 couples until, I guess it was about 10 to 2. And I think it was, so they closed at 3.
Yeah.
And about 10 to 2, one of the ladies that works there came up, and she was like, it's something about, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to let you know that it's almost 2 o'clock, and we close at 3. And when I say we close at 3, we're out the door.
We're walking out the door at 3.
Yes, we're out the door at 3 a.m. So if you want to play one last time, you better go down and do it. And it was just... I appreciate the directness, but at the same time, it was like, but we're all just here chatting, having fun. I don't know. I feel like that could have been delivered in a
softer.
more... Yes, a softer way. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah, with a little more tact.
Yes. Instead of like, you have 1 hour and 10 minutes to play and get the hell out of here.
Fuck, and then get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That was all of us sort of stopped, looked at her and were like, okay, thank you. And then she was like, okay, I just want you to know. And then walked away. And then I guess we ended up, you and I talked. I said, do you want to play again? And you were like, no, I'm happy just sitting here talking.
I was enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the conversation was a good conversation. It wasn't just like
light flirting and stuff, and just how it is.
And at this point, it's kind of funny. It goes back to those times where you end up meeting friends of friends of friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was a couple of people that we met that had known other play friends, and it's kind of that still surprises me. I mean, I realize it's a small community, but New South Wales and ACT that's a lot of space, and to think that you're running into people that know other people that through sex is a really kind of mind fuck kind of thing, and just to give those folks that maybe in the States that listen to us kind of an idea of what kind of space we're talking about, it would be the equivalent of living in Atlanta and meeting people from D.C., Washington, D.C., who have had sex with your friends that live in Savannah, Georgia. I mean, it's this gigantic space.
Well, also, don't forget going westward as well.
Right. Well, true, but I'm not even. I'm not even talking about west. I'm just talking about these are coastal, coastal people who happen to run into each other. You're like, whoa! It's like, oh my God, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, they're play friends of ours. It's like, holy shit balls. That still amazes me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I digress. Geography.
Yes.
Man, I'm getting a Florida panhandle down here. Anyway.
Oh, that was terrible.
I know. So we're chatting with these folks, and then you probably remember it better, but the lady that's in charge comes back again and is basically like, okay, guys,
It was at 2:30.
2:30 or 2:35, somewhere around there. She goes, you guys are the only ones left. And we all kind of looked, and we were like, you mean in the entire... She goes, yeah, in the entire place. And there was that sort of awkward, like, I think she wants us to leave.
Yes.
It's like, it's one of those things, you're not fucking, so get out.
Yeah.
Was the meaning.
That was the impression we all got.
That's the impression that at least you and I got, and then we know the couple that we had played with got. And then everybody sort of had that look on their face. We were like, okay, I guess we'll go and change and leave. But, I'm just going to say, if you run a club like this, we all want to get home after work. We all want to stop.
Yes.
But, you don't kick out people from the grocery store who just come and look at the groceries. Like, all right, you're not buying anything? Get out. And that's sort of the feeling that I got and took from it.
Well, and me as well. My perspective is, if you say you close at 3 a.m, expect people to be there until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
If you want, and then you're going to have to be there later to clean up, close up, do whatever. If you want to be out the door at 3, then say that you close at 2:30 or something.
I agree. Yeah.
you should basically say, what time do I want to go home? And then set closing time accordingly based on what has to happen after the last people leave.
Yeah.
If you want to be open until a certain time, then plan on being there X amount of time after to do all of the cleanup stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have people there until the very last minute, maybe even a little after. And it's going to take you a certain amount of time to do your job afterwards to get things closed up.
And moreover, those people might not be doing what the intention of the place is. So, meaning if you're at a bar and somebody's just nursing a drink or not, they're playing with an empty glass, you don't necessarily go, okay, it's last call. I mean, there's a way to do last calls without it being like...
Yeah. Like you said, it could have been a little softer, I think.
Yeah. But... C'est la vie.
Yeah.
I still say...
It was entertaining at the least, because we all had that moment, you look at each other and you're like, did you? Yep, okay. Let's just go change now.
And then lastly, my last comment is something else that was said to us by the owner, or I can't say the owner, by the person in charge.
Whoever was working that
Whoever
night.
was managing that night. Yeah. She came up and said, oh, by the way, if any of you guys ever come back together in a group of 6 or more, 3 or more couples, let us know. We'd be happy to let you in at a discount. You guys were no trouble at all. To which makes me wonder, what kind of trouble do most large groups of swingers come in with? I'm now imagining a West Side Story style, swinger where we come in snapping and opening condoms. Like this, and whoosh, whoosh. It's like, what the hell is that? Is there normally a problem with groups of swingers?
Yeah, because we don't normally see problems with groups of swingers.
No, we tend to be loving, happy. Not
even singles of swingers.
Yes, that's right. Whereas we like to call them swingles. But that was sort of, I think of the whole night. I was okay with the, get the fuck out kind of attitude. Right. I was okay with all that. But the whole, you guys were no problem at all really makes me wonder what kind of problems they have. It just
leaves that question.
Yeah, it's like, that goes back to the thing of you never say something to somebody unless you want them to assume the negative converse.
Because people are always going to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting.
It was just
It was interesting.
It was an odd comment.
Yeah. So.
But we have no idea what the intention was. So. Because we didn't ask.
Some sort of ritualistic sex? I don't know. We dance naked with sticks, and the sticks break light bulbs?
Potentially.
That could happen.
Maybe we should try a ritualistic sex dance next time.
We should.
Yes, we should make one up. And then see what happens.
I love it. I just want to come in like all of us in a West Side Story style, when you're a jet, kind of thing. But I can't come up with a sexy vibrating, name for our gang. The vibrators and the butt plugs.
We'll have to work on that. I feel like you can do better than that.
When you're a bi all the way. Some people might think you are, but you're not fully gay. Kind of thing.
Okay, you're getting there.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I need to work on my improv song. So we ended up making our hugs and kisses and saying our goodbyes to everybody. And we grabbed an Uber, or actually, I think we trained it. Did we just train it home?
I think we did that night.
Yeah, because it was the Couples Club is so close to Central. Mm-hmm. We at least, I think we trained and busted home at 3 a.m.
Home. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a good night though overall, and I think both of us ended up happy with the choices that we made in meeting this group of people and going to the club and playing with them, because it is really nice. Just to be around
nice people,
yeah, and just in that sexy environment and groups of people who are happy to play, and everybody's in a good mood, and enjoying themselves, and very much
non-judgy kind of group. I think that if not everyone, at least the vast majority, knew that both of us were completely openly bi, and that but there was no kind of like, we have been in groups where the guys especially get a little awkward around me. And these guys were just like, all right, I don't fucking care.
Whatever.
Which was really nice. And we liked that group. And to those in that group that are listening right now, it was a lot of fun. And we'd like to be included next time too. So yeah, it was a good time. So fast forwarding a little bit, the next morning we wake up and I had a message from Kick from the bartender.
Yay!
So, and the message was basically, I downloaded Kick just to message you. And so he and I chatted for a bit back and forth on Kick. We moved to phone numbers because, again, he wasn't keeping up with Kick because of him not using it.
Yeah.
And so we started texting back and forth. And then at one point, the three of us met for drinks.
It was probably a week later, maybe
a
something
week,
like that.
Yeah, a week and a half later. Yeah. We met for drinks and had drinks. He's really nice. I mean, it was only a couple hours, but.
And it was clear that, at least it felt to me, it was clear when we met him that it was just a social thing. You know, we just wanted to get to know him better because he was really cute. He seemed like a nice guy. He seemed intelligent, and there's no pressure to do anything. You know, just maybe see where things go. But at the same time, we just wanted to get to know him better.
Yeah.
And he's easy on the eyes.
Yes.
So there's always that.
Well,
yeah.
There was no pressure, but I really like him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met him for drinks, and that was nice. And then when you were laid up in the hospital last week, week before last, whenever, I went to his bar where he was working and sat with him for a couple hours and had some drinks and a couple of stolen kisses here and there.
No.
But he was working,
Is he a good kisser?
Well, see, it was just like the quick kissing. It was no serious because he's working, and the last thing I want to do is get somebody in trouble. I might be an overthinker, but I am very much I don't want to get you in trouble, especially if you're working.
Yes.
So yeah, that was nice, and then come to find out just after those two or three quick kisses. A few days later, he texts me and says, I'm starting a relationship with somebody. My X-Man power, once again, it doesn't even take sex anymore. It just takes kissing.
Your power is growing.
I'm becoming more powerful.
Yeah.
Professor X is going to turn me into, now when I just touch somebody, you will then find your one true monogamous relationship. At least for a little while.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking A.
He did say it was in the early stages.
Yes,
so
it is
we'll
in the early
see what
stages.
happens.
And I'm still going to chat with him because I do like him. He's an interesting guy. He's really nice.
Guy.
And he's, he wants to do improv comedy, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. So yeah, that's good. So yeah, it was.
But Mr. Adams' power strikes again.
So, if you are looking for your one true love, just contact me, Mr. Adam, and then I'll either kiss you, or you can fuck me, or I can fuck you, or we can make out for a little while, and then within 2 to 6 weeks, you too can have your one true monogamous relationship. do 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 do. But yeah, so that same night that I went out to his bar and I started walking home. Started the walk home, and the bus was slow as hell. So I was like, all right, I'll just walk, because I like walking down Oxford anyway, because there's always pretty people on Oxford Street. So I walked down, and by the time I got to museum, I thought, I'm pretty close to the sauna. I mean, I'm already in the city. It seems like a waste to be like right here and not just pop in and see what's going on, because it's cheap. And I had been thinking about, I could get a massage. And a massage is, $150. Or I could go into the sauna and get basically the same thing without the massage part for $25.
And that's the part that you actually want more so.
Right. Unless it's like a really good massage, then I want the massage. And let's be realistic. Most of them aren't. So I went into the sauna, and that was That was interesting. I guess, I don't know. Should we talk about this?
Let's talk about that a little bit.
You want to talk about it later, or you want to do it in this podcast?
No, let's do it now.
Okay. So we may go over a little bit on time. So you walk up the stairs at 357 is where I go, where I most commonly go. You walk up a huge flight of stairs, and then you pay your money, and you go in, and you're instantly put in a locker room, which I still say, why don't swingers clubs do this? But whatever. So you're in this giant locker room as well. Gosh, they must have over 100 lockers. It's big, and they're the double, one on top, one on the bottom. And then you walk around the corner, and you end up in this what most commonly in saunas, the wet area. So there's a big jacuzzi, spa. There's a like a gym style shower with, I don't know, 6 to 8 shower heads. But it's all open. Then there's the restroom where they have 4 private showers, but most of those are double showers. And then toilets and urinals and whatnot. Then they have a dry heat room, which I go in and I feel like I'm dying because I don't like that kind of stuff. But I always go in because it does relax me.
Yeah.
If I can stick in there for 2 or 3 minutes, I come out and all my muscles feel much better. Then they have the wet room, which almost kills me because it's
like the steam room type.
And it's hot and steamy,
hard to breathe.
and I have trouble breathing.
Yeah.
I start panting. I have gone into those to hide from people before because it's so misty. If you sit back in the corner and don't move,
oh my
people
God,
will
that's
never
fantastic.
find you. It's sort of like Mr. Adams in the Mist. Much like gorillas in the mist, but
Just
a little different.
curl up.
Yeah,
They won't see me.
They won't see me. And as long as you don't move and you put your hands over your mouth so that you're not disturbing the mist, it's great. It's like I'm safe.
I don't know if it's good or bad that you know that.
It's just fun to do.
know,
I don't know. This is what I do. Hush. And then you go up the stairs, the first set of stairs, and you make it to the first floor of play area, which is a lot of, and I actually really like the way 357 set up, even moreover than like the subway in Melbourne, because the first floor is they've got their glory hole area, they've got a lot of different playrooms, and it's clear at one point they had a voyeur room where you can play a video of what's going on outside, but it doesn't look like that's never worked since I've been going. But their glory hole rooms are done where they're offset, so you have to go up a few set of stairs to get to them.
Gotcha.
So if somebody is standing and somebody walks in, they're at the perfect height. There's no squatting or bending, so no pain on the knees or hips. Cocks at face level, which is great, because then above, the people standing up there also get porn on a TV screen. It's really cool. So they've got that. They've got the ones where you can stand, and then the ones where the people who are receiving can kneel on little pews, padded pews. And then they've got a couple of long rooms. Then you go up the next level. I think it's the next level, and it's they've got a wall of glory holes, but it's where it's a beaded chain where people can just you could see the people giving, and then you can go up and then stick your junk through, and then they've got a black area where there's absolutely no light. So you go in there, and I typically don't like going in there because it ends up being really kind of grabby and gropey. But at times that can be fun. It depends on what you're looking for. I would love to do it in a male-female sort of thing. I think that would be a lot of fun. But I've never seen a club or a location do that. And it would be, I think it might be difficult to do. But we should see if we could, now I'm thinking about talking to the law at Our Secret Spot and see if there's a location that we could do something like that.
See if there's a way to do something like that.
Yeah, because we've listened to this the Aussie Swingers talk about the groping cabinet.
Yeah.
So something like that I think would be really a lot of fun. Now I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to have to work on this. Anyway, so you go through this black area, and there are like seats, and I say seats. There's places to sit and places like cushioned benches and whatnot. but you walk through there and it's always, again, kind of grabby. But yeah, and then the top floor is their social area. So it's they've got a little bar up there, some computers and TVs and whatnot, and the TVs up there I don't think show porn, they just show movies, and so it's just a social talking area. So when I was there that night, I wandered around for a little while, and there wasn't a lot of people there. It was kind of quiet, which is odd because it was Thursday night, but it was still relatively early, I guess, on a Thursday night because it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wandered around, and again, doing something that I would not normally do. I typically don't walk up to people in that kind of situation because at this point as well, I should say, you're just wearing a towel. Some guys walk around with the towel over their shoulder. I'm not one of those guys. So you got the towel on. And this guy, it's so funny. You could probably do a whole psychological study on this, but the predatoriness of people, because you've got some people that actually stalk and follow people around, and you're like, I'm being hunted.
I wish people could see your head and neck movements at the moment.
But so ultimately it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I don't always have fun when I go to the saunas, and we've talked about it before. I've left a sauna feeling worse about myself than when I went in. But I was really in the mindset of wanting to go when I went, and I think that's it. If I go when I feel like I'm going only because the opportunity's there. It's not as much fun than if I go when I really want to go and this is what I'm looking for.
And that could be said of any kind of venue, any kind of going out, any place that you're going to go to, meet people, anything like that. If you're in the mood, it's going to be great. If you're not, it's probably not going to be great. Yeah.
But I walked up to this guy, my typical type, older, probably 10, 15 years older than me, but still pretty buff and worked out. And he asked me about my tattoo, which is, this thing has been the greatest icebreaker could have ever gotten. And so we talked about that for a second. And then he just kind of grabbed my wrist and then kind of looked over at one of the rooms. And I went, okay. So we went into the room, and then I wasted no time. I took his towel off, I dropped and started going down on him. And it was clear that he had one goal, and it was just to play around a bit, because at one point, he kind of grabbed me from under my arm and lifted me up. And I thought that, I was like, oh, this is going for a kiss. But it wasn't. He then turned me around and kind of pushed me down. I thought, all right, if we're going to do this, I need to get into position. But yeah, it was, and then he got behind me and it fucked me for a little while. And then it was one of those great kind of things, because he was like, I want you to come. And I'm like, okay. And so as he was fucking me, I jacked off, came, and then he was like, all right. And he kind of, it was one of those, it's funny because at the moment, it's not always something that would normally turn me on, but at the moment it was exactly what I wanted. Because then there was that soft pat on the bottom. And he's like, that was great. Thank you. And then leaves. I was like, awesome. That's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want this cuddly kind of, I just wanted grr. It was, even though I was bottoming, it was still all about me, which is rare, but nice.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Sounds like he was a good match for the night then.
For the night, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I was looking for the night. So I got lucky, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You draw straws, and you never know, especially having not spoken to anybody. And it was nice. And then I went home. So that was that.
That was good. Yeah, it was funny because I was, like you said, I was in the hospital at the time. And
I still feel guilty about that. I still feel
no, but there's no reason. Because I can't do anything.
I'm out hooking up with
random
random people, and you're laying in the hospital, getting hooked up to random IVs.
Yeah, but no, just because I can't do anything doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and have some fun. But it was funny because at some point I was, my sleep schedule was all weird and off and everything, and I was kind of on and off drugs and whatever. And so at some point I woke up in the middle of the night, maybe 3-ish, something like that. And I was, wide awake, looking at my phone, just going through Twitter and stuff. And I saw that Mr. Adam had posted something on Twitter about going to the sauna. So I was like, oh, good for him, I knew that he had gone to the bar. was like, oh, good. He stopped at the sauna on the way home. And then the next morning, I asked you something about it, and you kind of had, like, there was a pause in your reply. And I was like, no, I saw Twitter. It's fine.
It was, again, it's not about, I didn't feel guilty.
No.
It was just sort of like, I don't know. It is a little bit of guilt, but it's not like that.
No.
Like I'm hiding it from you, guilt.
No, not at all. But
Clearly, because I tweeted about it.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because I was like, oh, good. Yeah, because, again, just because I'm, couldn't do anything, it's like no reason that you can't go have some fun. And then I can live vicariously through you, and you can tell me all about it. So it's a win-win.
Indeed. Yeah, but it was fun. It's funny. I need to head back there again because I do like which I know constant listeners are going to be like, but you always say you don't like anonymous sex, and I don't. But sometimes that's exactly what you want.
Just what you need.
You just it's less sex and more mutual masturbation. I think at that point. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's much easier to do that with guys than it is with ladies. But that's just, I think, a personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So enough of that. Do we have a question for this week?
We do.
Woohoo.
This is a two-parter that was sent in.
Oh, goody. Two-parter.
Do you want to do part one and then part two? I'll just read both and you can answer both.
Oh, great.
Here we
Okay.
go. Have you ever gotten hot at the thought of food as foreplay? That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, have you ever had a wild fantasy involving a vegetable?
You mean like Terry Schiavo or like a plant vegetable or like somebody who is hooked up to a bunch of machines?
Oh.
I'm going to hell.
That's the question.
I am going to hell.
I don't know.
Okay, so the first question is: ever gotten hot with the idea of food?
Mm-hmm. Food is foreplay.
As food is foreplay, yes, because so. Anybody who missed it, and Mrs. Adam happens to be one of the people who missed it. Last week we did our last Sex Ed in the City was the art of sensuality.
The one in May.
The one in May was the art of sensuality. So it was about food. It was one of the pieces was about food. And there's a lot to sensuality, but one of the things that we really focused on was food as sensual foreplay. And we've all done the all done the chocolate syrup or the whipped cream, honey kind of thing, where you squirt it on your partner and you lick it off. Or we've at least fantasized about it if we haven't actually done it. For me, the first time that I can recall watching a movie and getting turned on as a youngling was 9.5 Weeks. The movie 9.5 Weeks, which has some of the most sensual scenes I've ever seen. But there's the scene where the two characters basically sit in front of an open fridge and they eat food off themselves. They play with the food. And, I look at it now going, what a waste of energy, the refrigerator door. We're not paying to refrigerate the entire apartment here. But, at the time as a kid, I was
wow,
like,
Dad.
Shut up. Well, the other side of that is our refrigerator, if you leave the door open, it starts going ding, 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 ding. That's
true.
That's not really attractive or romantic. But yeah, so that was the first time I ever got really whoa, that's hot, and food can be hot. I am now interested in trying sploshing at some point. Mm-hmm. And for folks that don't know what sploshing is, that's basically food play where you kind of mush food on your partner and you eat it or lick it off. But for me, what I really, really, really want, and I still want to try to do this at our secret spot sometime, is have a birthday party for me, where we have a birthday cake in the middle of a play area, and then at least the two of us, if not a couple more people, get in and we all just kind of roll around in the cake, have sex, and eat it off of each other. That to me sounds like it could be so much fun.
That sounds like a good birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding the vegetable, no. I mean, I like vegetables. I like my vegetables, but I've never thought or tried to either insert a vegetable or have sex with a vegetable or whatnot. I know that I remember reading as a kid as well the idea of taking like a butternut squash and cutting off both ends and then microwaving it and using it as a masturbatory tool. My issue always with that is mainly, A, it's a waste. of the food, but moreover, it's like cleanup is going to be a fucking mess. I'm so practical when it comes to shit like that. It's like, even if I did it in the shower, I would still have this limp vegetable, and I'm not talking about my junk, that I would have to take care of once I'm done with it. You know, it's like, that's gross. So no. Never been turned on by a vegetable. Though, at again, one of our Sex Ed in the City classes, we had carrots and squash or
Cucumbers.
I
thought they were cucumbers.
and squash, I think,
Okay.
aubergines or courgettes, that people were putting condoms on.
Yes, yeah, because Miss Jiff was trying to teach people how to, or show people how to put a condom on with your mouth.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're perfect for that, so.
Yeah, and you get all shapes and sizes, much like
That's true.
cocks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. How about you?
So food is foreplay, same as you. You know, we've all done the chocolate syrup, the whipped cream, the strawberries, that kind of thing. And I do find that interesting. I like it from time to time. It's not my go-to. It's not something that I want to do all the time. More as Mr. Adam, the practicality of cleanup, and no matter what you do, you're still left a little sticky, and that's fine in the short term, but
which is why it'd be great at a club, because then they always have the big showers.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
you know, it's easy just to scoop into the trash and then wash off whatever you're
So yeah, I do like things like that as foreplay. I've never really considered other foods and what, you know, anything. I don't know what other foods you might use. I guess you can use anything, but I've never really thought about anything else. And vegetables, same category, never even occurred to me. You know, like you said, we've used them to teach putting on condoms with your mouth and things like that, but I've never thought about it in the bedroom type play.
Now I'm wanting to have a birthday party, much like, you know, how kids have birthday parties, like it's a kids party, but I want to have my birthday party at OSS.
Yeah.
Wonder how much they charge me to
rent the place out.
Invite people down. And, Wonder how many people would come.
No.
I mean that on both sides.
Oh, bad.
What? Like, I want people to have fun at my party.
And they will, I'm sure.
Who wants to come to my birthday party? Who wants to come on my birthday party? Anyway.
Now I'm just picturing the whole building like covered in cum.
Wow.
You said come on my birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standing outside the building. What are you doing, sir? Just go inside. Yeah.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks for sticking with us this week. We sort of rambled on, but everything was sort of tied together. It was a nice, long narrative.
Yes.
If you have your own questions, comments, or rude remarks for us, find us on Twitter at By the By Podcast, or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/bythebypodcast. You can email us. We are theatomsoflove@gmail.com. Or you can find us on our website, www.bytheby.com.au. We do have another pendulum party coming up, but we're not allowed to tell you when yet.
Well, it's not set in stone. So once we determine the dates and whatnot, we'll let you know.
Yes, but it's definitely one.
There will be a third.
There will be Pendulum Party Part 3. This one will be in 3DD. I stole that from the Piranha movie, but it's mine now.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. All right. And thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, thanks for listening.